distributed beyond the student group, but if you for any reason don't want to be recorded, you can always turn your video off and be anonymous that way. So welcome. I'm so glad you're here. We'll be working quite a bit on breath, and I work from the people who have known me for a while will have heard me say this so many times, but the second verse of the Yoga Sutras is Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is the cessation of the fluctuation of the mind. And it's not so different from be still and know that I am, right? So at the kernel of every spiritual tradition that has survived and is worth its salt is the stillness that is behind all the fluctuations of the mind and all the former experiences and memories, and us grasping outside of ourselves to find some peace. And this is sort of coming way home to the center of who we are. And the only way I know to do that as a yoga teacher is to become still by focusing on the breath and really being in the body. So that's the purpose of what we're doing. And then there'll be somatics in the series as well, which is, some of you have done somatics with me, but essentially it's a way to go into very isolated groups of muscles in the body, really be with them, is saturate them with our presence, breathe into them and release any tension that's there. So it's kind of the more subtle work of letting go of the tension that prevents prana or breath or chi to flow through. And another translation of yoga is to yoke, right? To join fully our highest self, our spirit, essence, divine, infinite self with this earth vessel that's currently in panic for most of us, right? Low-grade panic, low-grade anxiety, something like that is a very natural response to all of what's happening. And it's really a lot, and it feels threatening, and our more reptilian brain is like on high alert, and being on high alert and having stress hormones course through the veins over and over, and not just in one little situation. It really takes a toll, and I've never seen so much anxiety, not being able to sleep, digestive issues. All of that is just happening right now. So the class I want to offer you is one that helps your body relax and feel at peace and help things flow more easily. Yeah? Any comments or questions before we start? Okay, good. The most essential part of the practice is the breath awareness. In my native tongue, some of you have heard me say this too before, in my native tongue, the word for breathing, the verb for breathing is un, and it means spirit. So in Danish, when we say I'm breathing, we say I'm spiriting. I'm spiriting in, I'm spiriting out. And we have that, of course, in English as well. I'm inspired. It means like something came from the yonder and something brand new came in. And milk can expire, right? Life force is leaving it. So when we bring all of our awareness to our breath, we're essentially bringing all of our breath to who we really are. And we're so, from the yogic perspective, we're so deeply in Kali Yuga, the darkest of ages, where we are the furthest away from remembering who we really are, that we are spirit, we are the divine incarnate, we are the divine experiencing humanity, or experiencing our earth life, and working through that. When we come into an awareness of the breath, there's that little part of us like, wow, this is who I really am. And the part of us that thinks we are this scared body that's trying to avoid COVID and all the scary stuff that's going on, that part of us can kind of calm down. So another way to say it is, we as our divine self is coming home to take care of that part of us that doesn't yet know it's divine. Yeah? Retrieving ourselves, picking up the orphan that forgot that he, she, it, they had a mom that loves them deeply, a dad that loves them deeply. Yeah. Okay. So that's why there'll be so much breath focus. And think of this, or try not to think of it, but we're trying to experience as much stillness as possible. And when we start considering stilling the mind, the first thing that happens is, oh my God, my mind is so not still. It's going all the time. And that's actually Kathy up here in the right corner. Remember, she was in my meditation class like 5 years ago or something, right? And Kathy said and coined this phrase. She said, every time I sit down to meditate, all I want to do is watch Netflix. Remember that?
Yes,
So it's like, what is the Netflixing that we do, the not being with ourselves? And we all have some version of Netflixing. And that's because when we first sit down, okay, I'm going to show you my one little prop, okay? So now it already got stirred up a little bit, but we are the divine Buddha within, the divine light, the spirit within. But most of the time, we're in this state. And we look at the world through this filter. And whatever these are, we would say in yoga, they're the rittis, the samskaras. That's what we see through. And we can't really see the world or each other clearly. You know, have you heard that saying where we don't see people as they are, we see them as we are? Because we're seeing them through this layer. And the yoga chitta vritti nirodha, the releasing and letting go of the rittis, the thoughts, which is funny because when I would take notes and draw that, I always drew it as little spirals. And I later heard that one translation for ritti actually is vortex, right? And that's kind of what a thought will do to you. It'll grab you, and for a while you're sort of voluntarily being with, and then all of a sudden it can really pull you down very quickly. And much of depression and negative mental states is often not noticing that a story has grabbed us and started to kind of tell itself inwardly. And then there's a physiological response to the story. And we can't stop the story unless we start noticing, wow, look at what I'm thinking now. Oh, now I'm going there. Oh, when I go there, this is how I feel. I might just not go there. Yeah. So that's the goal, is to step more into that witnessing part of ourselves. But that's enough talk. Now let's experience. So the first exercise I'd like to take you through is Makarasana. It's crocodile pose. You're going to lie on your belly with your arms stacked like this. Drop your forehead onto your top arm. So it'll feel like laying on the beach, on a beach towel on your belly. And the reason we go to our bellies to breathe is because it's a way to trick the body into diaphragmatic breathing. And that means engaging the diaphragm to push the abdominal organs down, creating more space for the lungs. So while you're laying here, you can turn your head to one side if that feels better on the neck. Begin to bring awareness to the simple act of breathing without directing or applying any tricks just yet. Just notice. And notice what happens inwardly when you notice your breath. Well, it starts to shift energetically. And now bring awareness to the inner ear. See if you can pick up the subtle sound of your breath. What does it sound like on the inhale? And is it a little bit different, the tone on the exhale? Just notice. And now bring the awareness also into the lower abdomen, below the belly button. And imagine that you're trying to inflate almost like a balloon in the lower abdomen. So you're drawing your breath all the way into the lowest part of the belly. And as the lower belly expands with the inhale, your lower back is kind of rising off the floor. And then on the exhale, give in to gravity and let the exhale continue just a little longer than what might feel like the normal way. You let yourself exhale another second. And invite tension to leave the body along with the exhale. So you can actually picture the vortex in a bathtub where it leaves through the drain and you let it go all the way. So even just here, before we go into more detail, some tension can begin to evaporate from the body. You might even imagine that you're on a magic carpet that can absorb the tension as you let it go. And now the practice here is also to bring as much awareness into the present moment. So we kind of draw the tendrils that go in all directions into this moment. So see if you can hold awareness on the sound of the breath as it shows up in your inner ear. Now the feeling of the breath inside the nose. And then the feeling in the lower belly and even the side bodies, low back. So there's this full body experience of breathing. And now, while maintaining this focus in all these different areas and how the breath shows up, gently scan your body like a mama would check her baby to see if the body's okay. Just sort of let your awareness circulate around and see where something might be a little tense or contracted. And simply by being with it momentarily, breathing, you can let it go. Okay. And now bring your arms down along your sides with the palms facing up and bring the right ear to the mat. See if your neck can be okay with that. And we'll turn the head in a moment. But if for some reason you got a kink in your neck and you can't lay this way, just find a way to position your head. Palms are facing up. Now draw awareness into the upper back, right around and between the shoulder blades. I once had a physical therapist call this the Bermuda Triangle because there's so much tension that can hide here that we're not even aware of. So see if you can just let yourself enter this area. Feel into it. Feel up through the back of the neck, the shoulders, uppermost back, muscles down along the spine, between, around the shoulder blades. Now we'll do a little somatic exercise. And for those of you that have not done this with me before, the key with somatics is that the focus is on the release, and we only engage to fully experience the release. And the engagement is less than we think. It's small, it's tiny. So here's how that will go. See if you can bring awareness into the shoulder blades. And on the next inhale, draw the shoulder blades together, just a quarter of an inch at the most. So the shoulder blades come closer to the spine. The muscles between the shoulder blades are making this lift happen. The elbows are not doing the lifting. It's happening between the shoulder blades. And on the exhale, let that tension go. Let it go. Let the shoulders drop, slump, soften, surrender into the floor. Even more. Just let the shoulders go. Yeah. And they tend to stutter when you release if there's tension, which for 95% of people there is. So let that be okay. We'll do that one more time, even smaller. Inhale, teeny little lift, shoulders lift off the floor, shoulder blades draw closer together. And on the exhale, let that go. Feel the muscles soften. Experience the disengagement of those muscles. Let them go even more. Even more. Soften, relax, and surrender. Now turn the heads of the left ears on the mat. And now let the shoulders release and drop again. Not pushing them into the floor, just letting them release. And we'll do the same thing here on this side. Now take a little breath in, draw the shoulder blades closer together, feel the contraction, the engagement in the upper back. And on the exhale, fully experience those muscles completely soften, release, and let go. Even more. Soften and melt, like butter on a pan melting or ice in the sun melting. We'll do one more like that. Take a deep breath in, draw the shoulder blades closer together. And on the exhale, let it go. Even more. Even more. Imagine my kind hands on your upper back, warm and softly saying, it's okay, let it go. That feeling. Good. All right, now bring your hands to either side of your chest and gently push yourself up just enough that you can sit up And we'll take a blanket, and if you don't have a blanket, grab a towel or something. Yes, Sarah, just like that. And then roll it up. Okay, I'm going to show you. We're going to roll it up. So if you have a sort of yoga blanket, standard yoga blanket, you're folding it in this direction, and you're going to roll it in this direction. And the roll, if you're doing it with something other than this size blanket, the roll will be about this fat, approximately. Yeah. So this can also be done with a towel. Do you have something, Kathy, that you can use? Yeah, you got it right there. Okay. And you're going to place it like a T under your shoulder blades. So it will be right kind of at the tips of the shoulder blades. I'm sitting up. You're going to be lying down. And you'll lie down on your mat with your arms extended out like a T, palms facing up, shoulders externally rotated. And the roll will be right there at the center of the thoracic spine, kind of pushing the chest open. This should feel good, like a release, like a relief to have this much more space in the chest. If it hurts, the roll is probably too thick. Then you want to just unroll it a little bit. So give yourself a moment to try to set it up in a way that literally feels like, yeah. And the chin is neutral, so there should be enough space that you can lengthen out the back of the neck a little bit. And now bring awareness into the pectoral muscles right below the collarbones. And behind there is the uppermost lobes of the lungs. So while we want to practice more abdominal breathing, getting the breath deeper in, this is also a part of the lungs that doesn't always inflate fully because we're hunched forward. So as you breathe in, imagine filling that uppermost part of the chest up while still filling the belly as well. And most of us have some tightness, almost like we're bumping into the pectoral tightness there. Just notice if that's happening. And even though this is not a somatic exercise, we're not moving, have that continued awareness of how the exhale is always an invitation to release, to soften. So the inhale, you're drawing breath in, you're also drawing awareness, presence, attention into the upper part of the chest. And on the exhale, the shoulders are softening, releasing, dropping toward the floor, letting go. If there's any irritation in the low back, bend your legs, tuck the tail a little under and lower the low back. And kind of lengthen out the sacral area. Now, try this. Bring awareness into the hands while you're still noticing your breath in your upper chest. And feel the fingertips of all 10 fingers. And then feel the palm of the hands. See if you can feel the energy present in your own hands. While still hearing the breath, feeling the breath. And now stay in the hands, but turn the lights on in the feet as well. The lights of awareness, to feel the point where the heels are touching the floor, the soles of the feet, the tips of the toes. So we're taking that, you could say the battery power of our spirit self, prana energy, and we're stretching and dispersing it into the whole energy field of the body. We're like taking that excess amount of our spirit energy that's often churning in the mental realm and bringing it into the moment, into the hands, into the feet, into the belly, into the chest. Notice the breath. And then take a peek without judgment. What is the quality of the mental realm right now? The rittis, the thoughts that arise and fall away. And you might, from here, just watch for a moment. What is it that wants to push in? That thing that you can't leave alone, that you want to sort out, analyze, figure out. And then once more, be in the hands and feet and be with the breath and see how you do have the capacity to withdraw from giving that thought energy, even if it's just a little less energy. Okay, now bend your legs, bring your knees up so they're bent and the heels under the knees. Lift your hips up enough that you can pull the roll out from under you. Let's get it all the way out to the side. And then come to lie down, knees are still bent, arms out along your sides, and feel into your upper chest and your upper back. A sense of openness and softness across the upper back and the upper chest. And shoulder blades, not by being forced in a muscular fashion to lay flat against the back, have just sort of slipped into their natural aligned position, a little more flat against the floor. Okay, now bring your knees into your chest, interlace your hands below the knees across the shins. And now rocks very gently side to side. Feel the edges of the pelvis, sacrum, just feel that whole area. And I guide so much with words, you don't really have to look at me. So bring all your inner sensors in so that you move and tailor your movement to you. Maybe you need more compression of the knees toward the chest. Maybe the knees have to come a little bit further apart or closer together. See if you can be so inward that you start to ignite that part of you that knows what's needed. Okay. And now drop the knees over to the right. Very gentle spinal twist. See if they can drop all the way to the floor. And let the right hand rest heavy but relaxed on the top leg. Extend the left arm out. Palm facing up. You can even roll your face toward the left, just let your neck decide. And now again, breath awareness in the lower part of the belly. And not only bringing more breath in and releasing more, but also have a sense that you're massaging your abdominal organs with your diaphragm, with your breath. Yeah, if we could do a little ultrasound of your belly right now, we would see that. Relax through the left shoulder. Relax through the whole left arm, elbow, hand. Soft forehead, soft eyes. Bring your knees back into your chest and drop them to the left. Extend the right arm out, right palm facing up, or right arm open. And you can let your left hand rest just heavy on top of the top leg. And now breathe into the lower back and the lower belly. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And without putting any judgmental pressure on yourself, make it the goal to be with every breath, the sound of every breath, the feeling. When you start to feel what it's like to drop into the present moment versus being off in the thought realm. Just notice the nature of the mind and what is the space within in which the mind has all these phenomenon arise, and dropping into the space, the stillness behind the thoughts. Okay, bring your knees back to your chest. Again, interlace your hands below the knees across the shins. And again, rock a little side to side. Okay, roll over to your right side and rest your head on your right arm. Lay there in fetal pose for a moment. So feel the softness of fetal pose. And see if you can allow the body to be equally soft and open in the front and the back. Feel the firmness of the floor below you. The sensation of one leg resting on top of the other. The sensation of the weight of the head on the right arm. And bring awareness back into the hands. We can begin to really think of yoga as the illumination of a physical form with awareness and with presence. What makes something shine and radiate? It's presence, right? You know it when you walk into a home where there's awareness and presence in everything and where it's placed. A garden that's well tended to versus one where somebody has just abandoned and not given it attention. So the body is the same way. We bring awareness in. I talked to one of my best Danish friends. She's married to a neurologist, and he is in private practice in LA now, and he's become the darling out there and really healing people. And what he's realized is that what heals people is meditation and calming the emotions. He can't say it quite like that. He has to say a lot of scientific terms and neurological language, and then say you also have to meditate. And that's how they heal. That's what he says. And that doesn't mean there isn't the science behind it and that he doesn't look at their scans, but he said much of what he sees is unhealable as long as the emotions are not calm and the mind is not calm. I mean, it's really where science and spirituality, I guess, intersect. And that's what's happening with these younger doctors out there. Push into the left hand to come up. Okay. Does everybody have something like a block? Yeah? Okay. And if you don't have a block, fold a blanket so it's like a stubby little kind of square as best you can. Or we'll use that. So we're going to come into a supported bridge pose. So you're actually going to come to lie down. You'll have your 4x6 block next to you if you have one. Continue to open the front of the body up a little more. So bend your legs, heels under knees, block nearby. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, lift your hips gently. You don't have to jam them up, just as far as they go. Then shimmy your shoulders under. Roll your shoulders under so that the sternum is lifting as much as the pelvis. And now place the block under your sacrum, wide side to side. You have 3 settings. Choose where the block kind of naturally goes with the height that your body just kind of went to without too much strain. And then, so I would turn the block, Kathy. Yeah, so it's wide side to side, and not up on the kidneys, like really that triangular flat bone at the base of the spine. That's like that's the center connection point. Okay, and now slowly start to straighten your legs. Just creep your toes away from the block, and just do it very gradually. See what your lower back has to say about it. You're opening up the front of the body. The quads and hip flexors can get contracted from sitting too much. So just straighten the legs as much as you can. It could be that they can straighten all the way. It could be that they're sort of halfway bent. And then close the eyes again and become inward. And just choose that this hour together, or a little more, I guess, is blessing the body with presence and awareness, feeling the prana, the life force within the body and being with that. So anytime your mind goes off, and especially if there's bodily irritation with anything we do, back off, do a little less. Let this be about being present. Breathe into the groin area. Stretching and opening the lower abdomen. And especially the bottom of the exhale when you're here, feel that you might feel like a little, almost like a stretching of the intestines. More traditional paths of medicine, like Chinese medicine and Ayurveda, that's generally one of the first things the practitioners will ask you. How's your digestion? How's your digestive fire? How's your ability to, draw the nutrients from the food and eliminate? And many yogic exercises are really about how can we make the digestive process as efficient as possible. All right, bend the legs again, heels under the knees. Take the block out and lower your body back down to the floor. And one more time, pull the knees into your chest. And rock a little side to side. Good. All right. Then roll to the right side, come up and locate your belt or anything like a belt. So that could be, you know, even a towel, something to capture the instep of your foot if you don't reach your foot, which most people don't. And then have your bolster or anything like a bolster, a little height next to your right hip. We're going to do Supta Panagustasana. So, and that's the one where you extend your leg up, stretching the back of the legs, hamstrings, and then you'll draw it out to the side. So you want enough space next to you that your straight leg can extend out to your right side. And then you're going to draw the leg to the opposite side of the body. So just kind of determine that you have enough space around you to do that. Or maybe you have to switch at some point. Yeah. Okay. So I'll talk you through it. So come to lie down. Your bolster's on the right side of your body. And you want enough space to be able to open your leg to the side. We're not going to do that right away. Okay, so extend the right leg up, capture the instep of the foot, wrap the belt around both hands, and have the elbows straight to begin with. So in other words, you're wrapping the belt around your hands pretty close to the foot. So straighten your arms a little more, Kathy. Yeah. And now extend the left leg long like it was in Tadasana. So resist that external rotation that the left leg wants to do and reach through the sole of the foot with some determination. If you cannot straighten your right leg, then bend the left leg. Yeah. Then inhale and reach up through the back of the right leg. Keep the right knee straight if you can. And exhale, pull the right leg toward you. But gently, not to your max, to 80%. As you inhale, let up a little bit, feel into the back of the leg. So we're never bullying the body and, you know, making the body do what we want it to do. We're working with it. We're treating the body like this beautiful energy, and some of the energy is a little frozen and stuck, and we're opening it up. Inhale, reach up through the back of the right leg. Exhale, pull the right leg toward you, and then find the max stretch that doesn't hurt. If you're pretty flexible, then place your belt more toward the ball of the right foot so that you kind of force the foot into more of a flex, and pull a little bit and see how you also get the stretch to enter into the calf muscle. Now put the strap into just the right hand, wrap the strap around just the right hand, have a bolster on the right side of the body or something to catch your leg. Or if you know you're flexible enough that the leg can come all the way to the floor, then you don't need anything. Now open the leg up to the side as far as it can go. If it's torture to try to bring it to the floor, then bring something in. Take the blanket from before and put it underneath the right leg so it can lean on something at its kind of max openness. Now breathe into both your right hip joint and your inner thigh. Extend the left arm out like a counterweight with the palm facing up. And then find that same breath where the breath enters the lower part of the belly. And you exhale all the way. And continue to experience and consider the body as less solid than it appears to us humanoids, but more as energy that's slowed down enough that it looks solid and it's quite shapeable. So any place that feels tight and stuck, go in there, be with it, and let the breath be part of the further opening. Now bring the right leg back to center, shift the strap over into the left hand, wrap the strap around just the left hand, and then draw the right leg across the body. Keep the bottom leg straight. And you might need to move the bolster over to the left side of the body now. You're stretching the IT band outside of the leg. We'll bring the leg all the way across. Draw it closer to the floor. And maybe it sort of hovers halfway, but maybe it can drop down to rest on a block, a bolster, maybe the floor. Breathe into it. Notice what the body might be bracing. And is the body bracing because you're forcing it to do more and it's trying to protect itself? Or is it just bracing out of habit and you could let that bracing go? Release, soften, breathe into it. Long fluid lines. Inhale, bring the right leg back to center and release the right leg. Extend it long, leave the strap there on the left side of the body. And just relax here for a moment in Shavasana. Close the eyes, feel inwardly. Over time with our yoga practice, we become very highly alert of everything in the body, noticing all the subtle things within the body. Okay. Now bring the left leg in. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Capture the instep of the left foot. And you could go straight to the ball of the left foot if that felt good to have that additional stretching of the calf muscle. And now extend through the left leg with some Tadasana kind of determination. So there's some action in the right leg. And then inhale, reach up through the back of the left leg, and exhale, draw the leg toward you. Be very inward, very curious and interested in everything that's happening. Inhale back through the left leg and draw the leg a little bit toward you. Feel the lower abdomen expand with the inhale. Feel tension releasing and evaporating with the exhale breath. See if the pecs don't have to become like rock hard. Like you can draw the leg toward you without over tensing up. Okay, now bring the strap into just the left hand. Determine if you need a little support. And then open the left leg up to the side. Extend the right arm out to the side as a counterweight, like a T. And then open the left leg as far as it will go. Let it come to something, a little support. The strap is just in the left hand now. Find the form. Find the support that allows you to open up wide without straining and tensing up against it. Breathe. Every exhale is a purification of tension, contraction, and stress. Just evaporating, releasing, and letting go. Every inhale, renewed, prana illuminating, healing, rejuvenating the body. Bring your leg back to center. Put the strap into the right hand. Extend your left arm out and draw the left leg across the body. Now you're rolling on to the side now with the lower half of the body. And see if you need a little support for the leg. If the outside of the leg is like screaming at you, then have a little support so it doesn't go quite so far. So just a little intensity, good, a lot of intensity. If you're ever sore after class, you probably overdid it. You want to back off just a little bit. Breathe all the way into the lower belly. Feel the expansion right above the pubic bone. And very long exhale, releasing and letting go. Soften through the shoulders. Relax the jaw and the throat. Soften around the eyes. Bring the leg back to center. Bend the knee. Release the strap, put it aside. Bring your knees into your chest again, Apanasana. And again, rock side to side. Very nice little release for the low back in general. Would be a good one to do at home. You are at home. Roll over to your right side. And come up and find all fours. Come into tabletop, long side of the mat. Just place your hands under your shoulders, hips right over the knees. Yeah. Good. And now drop the belly down, lift the nose and tail, and be in cow pose. Just hang out in cow pose, but try to not have the cow pose be a gripping in the low back, just a softening of the belly. Feel the shoulder blades come closer together. Take a deep breath in here. On the exhale, cat pose, draw the belly up, tuck the nose and tail. Feel the shoulder blades come further apart. Feel the tuck of the belly. Feel the belly button rising up toward the back of the spine. And inhale, cow pose, lift the nose and tail, not overdoing it in the low back. And exhale, cat pose, tuck the nose and tail, draw the belly up. And now find neutral. So right in between the two. So sort of bounce a little bit back and forth between cat and cow with the pelvis, and then find where there's just a little engagement of the belly, a little bit of Uddiyana Bandha, And the low back feels like it's not gripping. Can you find that? Good. Now, and then come into, if you're not already in tabletop, come into full tabletop, extend your right leg back, tuck your right toes under. Yeah, so the right toes are on the floor. And now feel the hip bones at the same height. So you're not lifting the right hip up. There you go. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, push the heel toward the back of the mat, right up through the center of the calf. Open that up. Inhale it up a little bit. Keep the belly lifted just a little bit. And exhale, push the right heel toward the back of the mat. Yeah. And again, inhale, breath. Don't hyperextend your elbows. So micro bend the elbows and push the right heel back. So when we push the heel back, it can tend to go straight into the elbow joint. So avoid that. Okay, drop the right knee down. Same thing on the other side. Extend the left leg back, tuck the left toes, keep the left hip bone level. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, push the left heel back. Open up the back side of the leg. Keep the belly lifted, just a little lift of the belly button toward the back of the spine. Inhale it up a little bit. Soften the elbow joints if they're getting hyperextended. Exhale, push the left heel back, right up through the center of the calf muscle. And one last breath like that. Breath in, exhale, push left heel, and drop the left knee down. Good. Now grab something, either a block, 2 blocks, or a bolster. It's going to be for your hands. We're going to come into child pose with some height underneath the hands. So knees go as wide as the mat, toes touch behind you. Extend your arms out and have the hands up on some height. And that could be the height of a block or the height of a bolster. Yeah, let's see if I can explain it well enough with my words. Otherwise, I'll drop into it myself. Yes, but straighten your arms and think of this as a prep for your down dog. So if you're familiar with down dog, the upper back, the shoulder blades come down the back a little bit together. There's sort of an external rotation of the upper arms. Straighten the elbows and reach through the fingertips and have the chest drop through. Yes, relax and drop the forehead toward the floor. Breathe into that. Now feel the line between the tailbone and the tips of your fingers and elongate that line. Feel like you're extending that line. Tailbone going in one direction, fingertips in the other. Long spine, long side bodies. Okay, come out of that. Push the bolster or block aside, whatever you use to elevate your arms. Okay, and then come back into tabletop. Tabletop position. Hands right under your shoulders, knees right under your hips. And now walk the hands 2 inches closer to the top of the mat. So a little bit of a wider stance. And now feel again that cat-cow propensity and neutralize that. So the belly is slightly lifted. Then tuck your toes under and come into down dog with very bent legs. So first set up your upper back and the length of your spine, just like you just did with the height underneath your hands. Send your weight further back, Kathy, more back, tail back, but keep the legs bent to begin with. That's it. And then slowly straighten the legs, but don't let the spine round. So see if you can find the length in the spine and the correct position of the shoulders and their sockets without, while you straighten your legs. And if you can't, if you feel like you're compromising your upper back, your shoulder joints, bend your legs. Now pedal side to side, open up the back of the legs even more. It's still morning. Allow the body to be a little gooey and fluid. Breathe into it. Send the tail even higher. But have a feeling that the shoulders are in their shoulder joints. So there's space between the ears and the shoulders. Yes, the shoulder blades draw down the back. And you're really not putting that much pressure on your wrists when your arms are in that position. Can you feel that? All right, now walk your hands back to your feet and widen the stance of your feet to the width of the mat, all the way to the width of the mat with the feet, pretty wide stance, not that wide, as wide as the mat, yeah. And then drop forward, you're good, Sarah. Drop forward, grab your elbows, so like a rag doll, and then peek at your feet while you're down here. Now you're all pretty low. Relax your neck a little more. Now, while you're looking at your feet there, lift the toes off the mat, all 10 toes. See if you can lift your toes off the mat, even if it's just a little bit. And then notice what that does to your arches. Can you all see the muscles of the arches kind of engage? Your arches lift a little more? Yes. Feel where that lift is coming from. No, feel the muscles that are lifting. Keep relaxing your neck. and then lower the toes down without collapsing the arches. Yes. Okay. Now come back into down dog with these wide feet and these very lifted arches. And if you kind of forget, you know, they're actually hard to find the muscles that of the arches. Most of us are a little unconscious of how we do it. The quick way to find it is the action of lifting the toes. It will remind you. Now, so you're back in down dog with very wide feet. The arches are lifted. Good. All right, now with the arches that lifted, the toes pointing straight forward, not collapsing to the inside of the foot. Nice. Bring the feet back to hip distance, more traditional stance. Good. Now, if you got room, some of you have to be careful here. You're going to inhale your right leg and bring the right foot to the top of the mat between your hands. You might just have to step your foot to the top of the mat. Yep. Drop to the back knee. Drop to the back knee. Interlace your hands and put them on the top of your thigh. Yeah. So I'll get into it here. So, comme ça. Yeah. So your hands are here. Good. And then lift the chest up. So all the work we did to soften around the pecs and the upper back, relax the shoulders down. Now this might be plenty. You're getting into your psoas here. Bring the weight a little further forward and the upper back a little more back. Optional to extend the arms up and even more optional to stretch over to the right. So stretching away from the psoas are being stretched here. Good. Okay, bring your hands back down, frame the foot, and push back into down dog. Check in with your arches again, check in with your feet again. Send your hips high, and inhale left leg high, exhale left foot to the top of the mat. Hands either to the thigh. That might be a lot. If you feel like you can't release forward and really get that stretch, then keep your hands here, even put the fingertips on the floor. If you have that flexibility, extend your arms up and reach. Hips more forward and upper back even more up and back. Good. All right, hands down, frame the foot. One more time, push back, downward facing dog. Okay, so from here, we're gonna come into pigeon. I'm gonna guide you into pigeon. But some of you might need to be on your back. So let's just see. I don't know all of you that well. So grab your blanket and put it on the right side of your mat, since we don't know if we're going to use that yet. Yeah. So the blanket on the right side of the mat. Back into down dog. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, right knee to the right wrist, right foot to the left wrist. So you have this kind of figure four leg in front of you. For some of you, there'll be a gap between your right buttock and the floor. Feel that. If there's a gap, tuck the blanket in there. Yeah. Then stay right in the center of the pose and open your chest up. Walk your fingertips back. This is proud pigeon, king pigeon, Kapotanasana. Yeah. Take a deep breath in here and exhale. Walk your hands forward and walk the fingertips more forward than you thought you could. So really long spine. And then bring your forehead down to something, either the floor, a block, a bolster, stacked fist. How are you doing, Bill? Maybe you want to do it on your back today. So Bill, watch me do this one instead.
I'll just do it.
Yeah, this one. There you go. Okay, for those of you on your back, the exhale is where you can draw your left leg a little closer. For those of you face down, if this is intense, stay where you are. If you want to go a little deeper, your right leg is the one that's forward. Walk your hands toward the left, like you're trying to reach toward the left corner of your mat or the left corner of the room. Be in the middle of the pose. Keep noticing you're tipping to the right. Okay, walk your hands back to your chest. People in regular pigeon pose, rise up. And those of you on your back can take a little break. This one is optional. So you're in pigeon, right leg is forward. Extend your right arm back. Bend your left leg behind you. Grab the foot, and that could be plenty. Draw the heel toward your butt if there's a little more room. but relax your low back so the low back doesn't grip as you do that. Then release the foot. Bring the hands to the floor, push back down dog. Bring the blanket to the left side of the mat. Kick around a little bit, kick the right leg out a little bit. If the right knee got annoyed here, better to take it on your back. If your knee is okay, let's set it up on the left side. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, left knee to the left wrist, left foot to the right wrist. Notice if there's a gap between the left buttock and the floor. Tuck the blanket in there so that you can rest the butt cheek on something. And open your chest, walk your fingertips back, big open chest, space, breathe in. And exhale straight forward, right in the middle of the pose. Walk your fingertips very far forward. So wherever you think your forehead is going to land, put it 2 inches further forward. Have a sense of length in the spine. Stay in the middle. Don't sag to the left. Soften the upper back. And now bring the breath all the way into the belly. People on your backs, let the exhale be the deepening. As you exhale, draw your leg a little closer. You still a runner, Kate? Never mind, you're on mute. You can answer me later. Just remember you being quite the runner. Inhale. And deepen on the exhale. No violence. People on your back, roll over and set up for your last down dog. People who are in regular pigeon, walk your hands back. Stand your left arm back, grab your right foot. If you did that variation on the other side, external rotation in the shoulder, and draw the heel just gently in. No pain. Release the heel. Bring the hands down, push back, last down dog, everybody. Move around a little bit. And just kind of check in with those little points that we made today. Lift the toes. See how the lifting of the toes, not the heels, the toes. See how when you try to lift the toes off the mat, the arches engage. Yeah. Then step forward to the top of the mat and come into another ragdoll pose. If you're very flexible, keep your feet hip distance. If this is a little hard, go wider, even wider than the mat. And hang there for a moment, like let this be like an inversion practice where some chi can flow into the head and let the space around the upper back release. It can take a moment to let that go. We have so much gripping in the upper back, like we're always watching our back, just letting that soften so that we're actually completely soft, relaxed, and peaceful, except for the few times when we can't be and we need to take care of something. But in between those times, we trust the release and the softening of any guardedness in the body that hurts us. Okay, now bring the heels in and toes out. So the toes are out on the floor, the heels are on the mat. Yeah, so you're wide. You're going to come into Malasana. So drop your bottom down. Hands can come to the floor. If you can't reach the floor, then come into bring a bolster or something in front of you. If the heels don't touch the floor, try to go wider and see if that does it. Yeah. And then bring your hands to your chest and then let all of this open up. Yeah. And let just gravity sink your bottom down. One of my big inspirators as teachers is actually my chiropractor, and he always talks about how we get tension in the spinal cord because we don't get our spinal cord stretched the way that we do when we crouch or sit in a squat and do work in a squat. And think about how much of humanity can sit like this all day. And in the West, we've invented chairs and commodes, and we don't. So we don't get that. So I'll show you what he told me to do every day, and it really helps. It's not necessarily comfortable, but I do it every day. So watch me really round my spine. Let your shoulders slump. Let the chin drop. If you can really relax, you're not forcing anything. You're letting the weight of the head and gravity do it. Yeah. Breathe as you're in this rounded spine. Okay. Drop your bottom to the floor and extend your legs long. Okay, second pigeon-like stretch, Gomukasana. So grab a blanket and fold it. If you know Gomukasana and you know you don't need a blanket, you can ignore this instruction, but otherwise, most people will need some height to sit on. Like being on the edge. So we're going to start in Dandasana. Yeah. So extend your legs forward. You're in Dandasana. I'm going to do it with my legs, my arms, and then draw the right leg over the left. Bring the heels in next to your hips. So that's the shape of your Gomukasana. Looks like that. And if one knee is way above the other, then sit on more height. Try to grab extra height. That's gonna drop that top knee down a little bit. And my 21-year-old runner daughter, this is plenty. She's already kind of in agony sitting here. So if you're in agony sitting here, just agonize for a minute and then come out. But if there is more stretch needed to feel the stretch, come forward, drop yourself forward, straight in the middle of the pose, and maybe even bring your forehead to a block. But really relax your shoulders. There's something about this forward here that ends up tensing up the shoulders, like we're kind of, bracing for dear life. And now once more, draw breath into both the low back and the belly. Notice if the shoulders could slump more. They get to slump and just drop forward here. Nice. Now, as you fold forward, use the hands to also send your hips and tail a little back. Can you feel that? So you don't allow, your sit bones to kind of lift off your blanket. So anything in this sort of pigeon family, Gomukasana family, this one, and you did the other two versions of pigeons a moment ago, those will prevent a lot of low backache if you do it even preventatively daily. And the way we generally sit with a little bit of a slouch in the lumbar spine can put a lot of strain on the muscles of the low back. This is one of the ways we can create some stretch in space. Okay, let's come back up. Now come off the blanket if you're on one. We're going to do the other side in a minute, but we're just going to do a little bit of a good strength. The core is really important, that the core is strong as well to keep the low back happy. So that's probably one of the few things we'll do that will strengthen us a little bit. So we're going to come into Navasana boat pose. So bring your hands to either side of your hips. And there'll be options here. So stop where you are. Look how big my feet are. So extend your feet out and then either keep your hands where they are, hold on to the back of your legs. You could even straighten your legs. This is like super disproportionate what I look like in this camera. There you go. Beautiful, Kathy. That's it. Hold that. Keep the belly drawn back. Lift. You can extend your arms forward to hold on. And just see if you can find, you're up on your blocks, Bill. Come off the blocks. That's going to be a little tippy. Beautiful. Hold the strength. Feel it. Breathe, even though you're really using your core, and come down. Legs back down to the floor. Extend them out. Come back on your height that you use for Gomukasana on the other side. Underneath your butt. And then draw the left leg over the right. And come into Gomukasana on the other side. Whatever leg is on top, left leg now, that sit bone will tend to not be as grounded. So see if you can have a sense of both sit bones ground down. Yeah, stay right in the middle and walk your hands forward and release, or just stay right there, especially the runners, or even if you've been a runner, it's like that's how your anatomy has developed over time. But it's still good. Relax both shoulders, let it go. There you go, Sarah. I can see that drop. But you're sinking a little bit to one side, and because of Zoom, you have to move a little toward the railing of your, there you go. Yeah, I don't know if that's right or left for you because Zoom is a little treacherous that way. Breathe into the lower belly. Relax both shoulders, let them go. That's it. Beautiful. Now, even though you're folded, bring the breath into the lower belly. Hear the music of your own breath. Be in the stillness of just the breath. If you've ever sat by the ocean, or even like Lake Superior or something, and just that hypnotic effect of listening to something rhythmic like the surf and the waves, the breath is kind of similar. So allow yourself to kind of be lulled into a peaceful place by listening to your breath. Okay, come on up. Extend your legs out. You can keep the height underneath your butt. Extend your legs out, Upavista. You can't completely see what I'm doing, but I have my legs extended out. Feet are still kind of in I'm just doing this to show you what my feet are doing because they're not quite there. Okay, sit up really tall. Open the chest again. Feel how the pelvis tends to roll one direction or the other. Remember when we were in tabletop setting up the down dog and we neutralized the pelvis? See if you can get into that neutral pelvis and then start to lean forward. But let the leaning be an elongation of the spine as you come forward. So even though it looks like a static pose, have the inhale be a lengthening and elongation of the spine, and the exhale be surrendering and folding forward. Inhale all the way into the belly, elongating the spine, fluid energy. Exhale, fold a little forward. Relax the forehead, relax around the eyes. Notice where unconscious tension creeps in all the time and let it clear. Let it go. Okay. Walk your hands back to center. And I'm not sure how I'll show up on your end, but bring your right hand to the outside of your right hip. Extend your left arm up. And we're going to come to the side, but have a feeling that the chest is trying to point toward the ceiling. So reach over to your right side while spiraling a little bit your chest toward the ceiling. Keep the top arm straight. So straighten the elbow and then go a little deeper, but sink the left sit bone into the floor. You're really getting into your QL. That's also a muscle that responds to stress. Can you feel how that's probably tight? And come back to center, left hand behind your hip, extend the right arm up, and again, draw to the side, a little bit like extended side angle. If you think of extended side angle from Warrior Two, that feeling of a spiraling of the sternum up. Keep the top arm straight if you can, sink the right sit bone into the floor, and come back to center. Okay, extend your legs back into Dandasana, forward, sit up tall. Inhale, extend arms overhead. Exhale, Paschimottanasana. Let the Paschimottanasana be okay if you kind of do that little slumping that we did in Malasana. Drop forward. And just let it be, I like to call this the chamomile pose, where everything slows down. When we want to energize back bends, chest openers, we'll tend to do that. When we want to calm down, forward folds is where we want to go. Okay, come all the way up. And then come into some seated pose that works for you. So it could be cross-legged. If cross-legged doesn't work, you could sit, like this and put your block or your bolster between your heels, but something that allows you to sit upright without too much effort in the body. Yeah. So we're going to do alternate nostril breathing before we go into Shavasana, Nadi Shodhana. So use your right hand and then kind of glue together your ring finger and your pinky and use that to block your left nostril. And you can take these two fingers and bring them down. I don't think this is super urgent that you do exactly this way. This is just how I learned it. So the inside of the ring finger blocks the left and the thumb blocks the right. Yeah, okay. So we'll do this together. Block the left nostril. Is anybody congested and can't breathe through both nostrils? Okay, so take a deep breath into the right nostril all the way into the belly. Block the right, exhale through the left. In through the left. Out through the right. In through the right. Out through the left. Now everyone has a different pace. I want to do it at your pace, but you see the pattern? It's like a V. In, out, in, out. So close the eyes and let's do this. If you start feeling like you can't breathe, then just stop, take a few normal breaths and continue. Take a break and notice the way breath is flowing in your nose. Just like I call Paschimottanasana my chamomile pose. This is my Sudafed pose. I mean, my Sudafed pranayama. And I wanted to share with you an option. When we breathe predominantly in through the right, it's a more energizing breath and left is more calming. So if you feel anxious, have a hard time calming your mind down, then just breathe in through the right, out through the left, in through the left, out through the right, in through the left, out through the right. And if you, like, I'm going to sit down and write after I need my full mental capacities, then I'm going to do right, out through the left, in through the right, continuously that direction. Does that make sense? So if you know what you're up to after, and you know, I got to just calm myself down, I'm kind of freaking out about moving or something, maybe just try the left circle. And if you know I need my full mental capacities, I got to stay really alert, do the right, or just continue the Nadi Shodhana. We'll do one more round. I just want to give you that possibility. So we'll start together now. And release out of your variation if you took one. Notice.
I'll be done in a minute. 3 minutes. I'll be done in 2 minutes.
And open your eyes. Do you feel a little more open in your breathing through your nose? Yeah. And that was a fairly short round of it. So I highly recommend that as a way to create clarity and openness. And it feels like if you do this daily, you tend to get less congested, is my experience, because I suffer with seasonal allergies. Okay, come to lie down. We're going to set up for Shavasana. Put on socks, hoodies, blankets. The body cools down very quickly when we relax. So maybe a layer extra than what you might think. Now, the two polar opposites you could say in yoga is Tadasana and Shavasana, or mountain pose and corpse pose. But inside the Shavasana is a little homeopathic dose of Tadasana, a little bit of alertness. Same inside your mountain poses also some release and relaxation. So as you lay down as though you're taking a conscious relaxation break. Yeah. And it's very helpful to kind of tuck the tail under before you extend your legs long, so the low back is a little more flat, a little less space between the lumbar spine and the mat. And without forcing anything, draw the shoulder blades just a wee bit down the back and together so the inner arms and palms end up facing up. So there's a sense of space in the front of the body, but also in the back of the body. And now draw awareness into the heels and the hands and the back of the head. Feel these 5 points of contact. Now let the face become very soft. Soften the forehead. Relax the little muscles around the eyes. Notice the subtle stream of air inside the nose. Let the tongue relax inside the mouth. Soften any strain around the lips, the mouth. Relax the jaw. Become aware of your scalp. And have the sense that even the scalp is relaxing and releasing. Notice the wrinkles and folds of the ears, earlobes. Relax your throat, sides of the neck, back of the neck. Relax the right side of the chest and the left side. Feel the center of the chest and feel the heart behind the breastbone, the whole chest cavity. Notice the shoulder blades and the muscles around the shoulder blades softening, letting go of any remaining tension. Heavy arms, back of the hands, palm of the hands. Relax the low back. Let the hips soften and release, the buttocks, the glutes. Let the belly be soft and receptive to the breath. Release through the thighs, the knees, calf muscles, the muscles along the shin bones, the ankles, the top of the feet. Feel the point where the heels touch the floor. Feel the soles of the feet, the arches. Feel the big toes, second toes, third toes, fourth toes, fifth toes. Feel the weight of your arms. Feel the fingertips. Feel the weight of the legs, the tips of the toes. Soft belly. Gentle breath. Soft throat. Soft face. Gentle eyes. Body sinking into the floor. Whole body illuminated with awareness and presence. Disperse your awareness evenly in the whole energy field of the body. Notice the breath. Now, if you're ready to be guided out of Shavasana, roll over to your right side. If I don't see you rolling to your right side, I'm going to put you in the waiting room so you could just stay in Shavasana for as long as you need this morning. And slowly come up to seated. Let your hands rest on your thighs for a moment. Close the eyes. Just feel your own body, your mind, your breath. How your practice has impacted your energy. Join hands at heart center, bow the head to the heart. In a gesture of the intellect bowing to the seat of compassion, the true infinite kind-hearted spirit that we really are, that the intellect may be in service of the heart. And thumbs to third eye center, a gesture of recognizing the divine within all living beings, ourselves, each other, people we like, people we don't like, looking through it all and seeing the spirit behind it all. We bow to one another and say, Namaste. Hey.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you
guys.
very much. See you.
Thank you.
Good to see you guys.
Bye.